Yeah, so Comcast Technology Solutions, we're all about taking Comcast technology to the world. Obviously, you're all aware of Comcast and what this company is. It's a big media technology company with NBC and Sky being big media content providers. And then the cable division where we sit is really where we develop a lot of the technology for both the buy and the sell side of the advertising technology. You're probably also aware of other advertising tech, such as Freewheel, which is always a good question to ask in terms of where we sit with them. So we're all about, after the ad decision and after any media inventory has been placed, we're all about the creative asset management and where those assets get delivered from the sell side through to the buy side and vice versa.
So Richard, one of the biggest challenges facing the industry is the huge rise in ad volume, particularly as addressable really takes off. How important is automation going to be to face this challenge?
Yeah, it's really, really critical. What we're seeing from a numbers perspective is over the next 3 to 5 years, about a 7x increase in ad volume, driven by obviously a lot of the emerging channels that we're now seeing, OTT and CTV and addressability. Then if you throw on personalization on top of that, then those numbers get, very, very large indeed. The challenge really for today that we're seeing, as a receiver of ads ourselves at Comcast, but also taking technology out into the wider ecosystem, is the current manual processes that you allude to really are struggling to deal with that scale. Today, it's very siloed where you have linear and digital. Technology can start to bridge that divide for sure, but the problems are that the opportunities really are about the automation that will drive the solutions to deal with that advertiser volume, i.e. ads, as well as advertiser scale as well. And bringing together a lot of these point-based solutions in an aggregated platform that gives you complete transparency around where and what an asset has done, where it's landed, really helps solve that challenge of scale, which is a challenge that the industry has to face and become a lot more standardized.
So much of the current workflow for TV and online advertising is very reliant on manual processes. Which parts of the workflow do you recommend automating? What does good practice look like in your mind?
Well, where we're hyper-focused, and we've delivered this for Comcast, the Xfinity brand, obviously because we are a major advertiser ourselves, is what we've seen and what we've solved for is the challenge of, as I've sort of alluded to before, bridging the linear and digital divide. So making sure that we have a platform that you can absolutely see through transparency, through control, through efficiency of what specific creative asset or a version of asset has landed on which particular channel. That becomes really critical to have that unified view. To ensure that then you can apply attribution and optimization around that. So really what we're about is we're not saying we're the silver bullet. There is a lot of point-based solutions that do bit parts and connect all these dots. But certainly the platform that we've built is an aggregation platform that brings a lot of these points together to then give the advertiser and the brand that total view of what's happening from an creative asset management perspective. And so that's the key thing that we've solved from a manual perspective and driven automation through that to then solve the problem of scale.
So there are obviously lots of ad tech companies out there promising to automate some or parts of the workflow. If you were sitting client side, how would you advise companies to go about finding the right set of partners? How do you tell one properly, fully automated solution from something else that might be cobbled together from lots of different parts or really not fit for purpose?
Well, I think the first thing is what problem you're trying to solve for. And the answer that we try to give ourselves as an advertiser when we're working with our agency partners was you work with a lot of constituent parts. So actually, again, bringing all these things together through a unified technology is critical. So we wanted to make sure that we had simplicity, ease, transparency, and control of what we were doing in terms of all our assets. So I think the answer that we had to ask and answer ourselves, and what we recommend to other brands and advertising agencies that we've taken this out to is, what are you trying to solve for? Because, as I say, there are a lot of point-based solutions out there trying to solve bit parts. But I think the bigger picture strategically, in the context, again, of the market scaling across channel, is how do you get that transparent view of what's happened when? Because it's critical, certainly as we move into an addressable world, where we are going to see that exponential growth, the sophistication of media targeting, more creative versions, that if we can't get a handle on today's activity across in an omni-channel world, then that becomes even more challenging later.